Hi, I'm Bob McCullough, Dean of Admission at Case Western Reserve University. So students wonder, how do I apply for financial aid? And there are a couple different things that you need to think about, and it depends a little bit on some factors about you as a student. So first of all students should plan to submit the Css Profile. This is a financial aid form that is administered through the College Board, so the same folks who bring you things like the SAT and the AP. And it is a financial aid form that will ask you some questions about your family's financial resources, and you'll submit that form. That is something that is required regardless of whether you are a U.S. citizen, permanent resident, or an international student. The second form that we will require for students who are U.S. citizens or eligible non-residents, typically permanent residents, is the Fafsa, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. This is administered through the U.S. Department of Education, and it is a form that gives us information about your family's financial resources, but is also required to be considered for state and federal financial aid resources. So things like student loan programs, federal grants, those kinds of things. So if you are a U.S. student, we will need both of those forms to consider you for financial aid. If you're an international student, just the Css Profile. A couple other things that are really important for you to think about. One is when you apply for admission, we will ask you, are you applying for financial aid? You need to say yes. That lets us know what are the things that we need to make sure that we're asking you to complete later on. The other thing that's really important is that you need to make sure you're submitting those forms along with your application for admission. So typically those forms are going to be due 2 weeks or so after the admission deadline that you're applying for. So for example, if it's early action, November 1st, those forms would be due November 15th. If it's regular decision, January 15th, those forms would be due February 1st. There may be some other things that the Financial Aid Office asks you for, so really important to make sure you're paying attention to your applicant portal and other communications from Case Western Reserve if there are things that we need in terms of clarification. But the main thing for you to also know is that Case Western Reserve meets 100% of your demonstrated financial need. So that means that whatever your family's resources are and what we determine you can afford to attend college for a year, the difference between that and the cost of attendance is your financial need. We will make up that financial need through grants, loans, work, whatever it might be. The other really important thing for you to know is that all students, regardless of whether you're applying for financial aid, are automatically considered for merit-based scholarships. So that's just based on your application for admission.